And we are live. We are live again. Wrestle Purist live, hosted by myself and Joe Hulbert. And today we've got quite a few things to get into, ranging from hilarious to injury updates and that kind of thing. CM Punk reportedly in talks with WWE. Some say it's a safe bet, Joe, that he's at Survivor Series.
No.
The Undertaker's apparently coming to NXT. He's going to be around, the Tuesday Night Wars are heating up, Joe. What else we got? We're going to do a Fastlane. We'll do some predictions or something. We're going to talk about Fastlane. And like I said, a few other little bits and bobs that we're going to talk about, But first things first, please like, subscribe, super chat, any questions, any takes that you want to get into us, and we'll read them out. Please hit the notification bell. And hope everyone's doing good. Starting with you, Joe. Eventful start to the day. How you been?
It is. I'm all right, mate. A little bit hungover after last night's Wrestle Purist party. Had a few too many Pepsi Maxes, but I must say I'm proud and thrilled to be on this show, which I believe is the owner of maybe the funniest thumbnail in the history of Wrestle Purists. I was telling Montgomery about this before we went on the air, but the 1-2 punch of Punk with the WWE logo, and then much funnier, the Undertaker kind of looming over the NXT, the current NXT 2.5 logo that they rock with. It's a magical time. I'm glad to be here for that piece of history, and what a hilarious couple of headlines that really is. So here we are, talk about wrestling once again, mate.
Yeah, let's. What would you say is funnier then, Joe? Taker NXT.
Taker by far.
Okay, so we'll start with that. We're starting with the funnies, Actually, speaking of which, Manny the Hooper. No, Super Chat. We love Manny. He says he's very upset that he can't fly out to Chicago to watch Punk debut for the greatest wrestling company in the world. Hope the young talent see the green grass on the other side. Only
Love
Manny
the idea
could
of the young talent looking at how 45-year-old CM Punk fares and be like, man, it's looking green over there,
Maybe I've got a chance.
Yeah.
Oh no, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Manny the Hooper's definitely going to be supporting it, and happy to see it. But yeah, anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. Undertaker. Yeah, PW Insider reported that the word going around the PC and WWE today is that The Undertaker is going to be in Orlando, Florida next week, including Tuesday, where, as many of us already know, AEW Dynamite, WWE NXT are going to head. And yeah, they've both stacked up the shows. WWE have gone hilariously front foot forward with this. AEW did retaliate, and WWE are now responding again, it seems. Undertaker, NXT, not something I had on my bingo card for 2023, Joe.
No, I think it'd be pretty bold if you did have it on there. This is an incredible twist in the towel, and has made what was already an enticing Tuesday evening even more exciting to me. It's just like a sicko who tries to enjoy watching it play out. What you do with the Undertaker on NXT TV in 2023 is something that will genuinely be on my mind for the next 3 days, because he's not I can already see exactly what Cena's going to do, right? They're going to do a backstage thing where he gives a pep talk to Mello. He's going to do the Cena faces at ringside. He's going to smash his hand against the apron and get the people clapping. Someone's going to do a "you can't see me" bit with him backstage for social media engagement. But what in the world do you do with the dead man? The Undertaker here, who at this point is kind of like just a one-man show merchant who kind of just goes around with his problematic T-shirts and talks graphs. What do you do with him on NXT? You know what I'm saying? How do you approach this? Money, talk to me. What's the plan?
Oh, you're asking me. I'm as lost as you on this. The Undertaker in NXT, I don't know, man. I don't know. Joe Gacy?
Exactly. I thought the exact same thing. It can't be Joe Gacy's. No way, right? But I mean, who else? This is fascinating and very funny, of course, when you keep stressing that. No idea what he does for a rating on that show at this point. I assume he'll do something to it, because there's a novel. clearly there's a novelty to it because I'm even intrigued by this.
Yeah,
And
there's
yeah,
this kind of novelty to it.
yeah,
Then people love Undertaker. It's the Undertaker.
they do. No, they absolutely do. It's just he's a different kind of legend to like a lot of the guys. They can do like a cameo and it's normal, right?
Mm.
Undertaker has always been weird in that regard. I know obviously he did the segment with Bray. That was the last time he was on TV, right? Was the thing with Bray? Must have been.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was
Brian,
obviously a
LA
specific
Knight.
thing. Yeah. So it's like, I'm intrigued by how it looks and what kind of result it does for the ratings. But at core, when you text me, it was one of our stories. I just laughed out loud at how incredible it is. Like, we got to pull in the Undertaker.
Yeah, like I say, it's not yet been confirmed whether or not he'll be on screen, but
Right.
With the way Tuesday is shaping up at the moment, you'd have to kind of assume that's probably the way it's going to go.
They got to do it now, bro. I'm excited now. They can't blow it now. I don't care if they didn't advertise it. I'm excited now.
I'm locked in now.
Yeah, I need to see it, bro.
The Undertaker, man. Baron Corbin did a biker entrance the other day,
Oh my god, that's who it'll be. It'll be Corbs.
Of course.
Can he do a? He could do a tombstone or something, right? He's not that old, is he?
Oh, you could definitely do a tombstone, or at least the choke slam.
I think he may interrupt Big Baz Corbs, come out and drop him on his head. I think that's where we might be going.
Corbin, Gacy, it's quite the lineup, Joe.
How tall is Joe Gacy?
If I had to guess off the top of my head, I'd say like 5'10".
It's a lot smaller than the Undertaker. you have to frame that one creatively. Time will tell. It'll be in all seriousness. I haven't a chance for you to talk about this. I know you covered it with Ibu on Wednesday, but this is fun. This stuff, right? Like bits aside, and I'm not here to do the enjoy wrestling because part of the reason it's fun is that the fan bases go to war. That's part of the dynamic. Don't ever discourage that. It's part of the game. But from our perspective, as just kind of observers at this point in the game, it's like this is going to be a blast, man. Like, watching this ridiculousness unfold. Yeah, this should be a fun time on Tuesday.
We've got another all-star that's been suggested. Tricky Magician says Taker's coming into pole drive Dom to the biggest warehouse pop of all time.
Bro,
He'd definitely be up there. Speaking of big pops, we got Backup Hangman. He's passing through. We've probably got him for a few minutes. I don't know what he's up to today, but he's here for now. Ibu, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much, Had to make a quick cameo. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is the equivalent of the guy popping up on the Titantron. So yeah, I'm here. How's everybody doing?
Good, very good.
We're having a laugh right now. Undertaker's coming to NXT. We're trying to think of creative plans. So far, we've come up with Dominic Mysterio, Joe Gacy, and Baron Corbin. So.
Realistically, yeah, sounds fun, right? Realistically, the best thing they should do with him, and they won't, but I mean, you never know. But what they should do with him is you do the thing where Paul Heyman is talking to Braun, right? And Heyman basically says, I've been keeping a close eye on you. I've been really watching you in NXT. I do think you have something, and maybe you could be a Paul Heyman guy someday. You got to show me something tonight, but you got to really show me how badly you want to show whatever how badly you want to prove that you're a tough guy, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? And Braun kind of just takes heed of this, right? And later on in the show, Undertaker comes out as Mark Calloway, as he's been doing lately with the bandana and the hat over the bandana and the fucking bootcut jeans and the old Navy shirt and shit. And he's just kind of like, I look around and I see a lot of young men and women in this business coming up, and I see a lot of young pups, and I wonder who's going to be the next big dog in this yard. And that's when Braun comes in there and tells them, "It's me. Get the fuck out of this ring." And then Taker kind of just
good luck,
right? Taker walks away a little bit, then he turns on, punches Braun. They do the 1-2 punches a little bit. Taker shoots him off. Braun hits the ropes, spears Undertaker, throws him out of the ring, and then he grabs the mic and says, "I'm going to kill you tonight, Carmelo Hayes and John Cena. If you get in my face, you're going to catch this work too." And then that's your teaser for the main event. That's what they should do. But it depends.
Imagine pitching that to Big Mark.
I was going to say, who's going to be pitching that to him? Matt Bloom.
Shawn Michaels.
Well,
If Shawn says it, takes him like, still trying to get one over on me all these years. He's still trying.
he's not. There's
trying
no
to
way.
make it
Like Taker will absolutely present it as cool as possible. Now, whether that works or not is a different matter. We may not have the same perception of cool as him, but like,
Yeah.
I could see them doing a deal where they have a guy lose, walk through the curtain, and he does the Cena spot. You know, where he like acknowledge Cena and give him the respect deal. I could see them doing that. But I don't know. It'd be funny either way.
He's 100% going to be like, hands in pockets, looking really tough. Maybe I forgot.
Imagine if he just goes full dead man though.
No,
That would be much. That would be incredible. With the like when he went to the Cavaliers game when he was waiting for LeBron.
No, it's gonna be bandana, hat over the bandana, shades over the hat over the bandana, right?
Layer it up. Gotta layer up the headwear,
What's your name, kid? Von Wagner. Shakes his hand.
Is there a mixed tag deal that he could get? He could involve Michelle on, get her a payday too, because that's like a good bit. Who could? There's a couple groups like that, right?
There what? You could do like Ivan and the Creeds. You could throw someone else in there with Taker and Michelle.
Who's with Noam Dar?
Jakara Jackson, Lash Legend, and Aura Mensa.
Noam Dar would go up real good for one of those tombstones, bro.
Oh my god!
He'd be a swift lift. You know what I'm saying? He'd be a swift lift.
I'm
just throwing out ideas.
Monty, I could easily picture just a really annoying NXT segment of Taker talking and like the metaphor interrupting Taker and get out of this ring. I know I'm done. I control NXT and the
Lash Legend talking spicy to him.
Oh my god!
It sounds fucking awesome.
It does a bit.
If Taker was left to his own devices, he grabs the mic and he's like, "Out of my face, bitch," or something. Out of my face, bitch. Oh my goodness.
We'll have a good time, sure.
Taker would look at Noam Dar and he'd be like, "I think those ladies behind you got bigger balls than you," and the crowd is like, "Oh, oh my god, holy shit!" The big WWE accounts clip in. They're like, he went there. He went there. Taker absolutely went there and owned Noam Dar. The Fightful account is like, he writes the quotes. Ladies have bigger balls than you, Taker, and it's like the shocked emoji. Like, oh. Quarter hour does like 1.1 million, 0.4.
Oh man, yeah. There's a lot of funny options for Taker next Tuesday. We got a couple super chats. Literally a couple. Keep them coming, people. Keep them coming. Globe Wrestling 199. He asks us, cult personality or this fire burns? I like cult personality myself.
Yeah, me too. I know that's become that's like a real topic of debate, but it's never been one for me because well, I mean, cult personality is like a classic song. I mean, but nonetheless, I think it would be a mistake to have him not come out to cult personality for the presumed or potential return. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree. And the
back.
WWE fans like deciding we love CM Punk again because he's coming back is like hilarious because it's also being accompanied by like nostalgia for like the weirdest parts of his run. It's not even like, oh man, like remember when Punk was like, feuding with John Cena. Remember when he had the Brock Lesnar match? I saw a guy literally tweet, CM Punk 06 to 2010 is better than 2011 to the AEW CM Punk. And I'm like,
why? What did he do in that time? Just the Jeff Hardy feud?
So let's look at it, Joe. It's long-haired ECW CM Punk for the first 2 years of that. Then in 08, he gets moved to Raw. He has a failed World Heavyweight title run that they don't really push him as a main event guy at all. He doesn't close any show. And then he loses his belt unceremoniously. And then he just kind of like does mid-card stuff until he gets the Money in the Bank again. And then he finally gets going with Jeff Hardy, but that's like in 09. And this guy is saying that this 06 to 2010 stretch is better than everything he does post 2011, which is just not true in any way.
Kind of base though. Just making stuff up. I do it a lot.
Yeah.
God bless. Gotta respect it. Plethora 1C 199. Appreciate him. Taker complains about Tony D using his body bags.
Oh, that's it, Monty. Tony D's got to be the answer. Mob Man Taker oh, that's it.
Could you, man, Taker walking by Tony D'Angelo, and because he can't like, because he has to get over on every segment, right? He looks at them and they're like, "It's Tony D. It's the family." Taker's like, "I ran into guys like you on the road up and down every day."
he tells him he's been a made man since 1991.
Taker's like, "When I was up and down the roads making the towns, we used to eat guys like you for breakfast. Want a beer?"
Oh man, a lot of could get some good content next week. You know, Taker. But we'll see what happens with him.
We need more guys like you in this business, Tony. Yeah.
This bit is going to get absolutely buried when he doesn't actually show up on TV next week. It's going to be incredible.
No, we're getting the content out of it now. You know, we got the people here. You know,
I know it's in your
we
bag.
sold the tickets.
True.
I know what you're carrying on you, Tony. Good stuff.
All right, let's get into this Punk business, especially while we've got you here as well.
I got like 5 minutes.
Yeah, so we'll dive straight into it. Dave Meltzer put in the Observer newsletter earlier that, according to sources close to CM Punk, they are in talks with CM Punk and WWE are in talks. WWE are seemingly keeping pretty tight-lipped about it. However, there has been some follow-up, some of it from Nick Hausman, who said WWE source told him that they feel it is a safe bet that CM Punk will be at WWE Survivor Series in November. PW Insider have also done a follow-up report as well, saying WWE is aware CM Punk is on the open market, blah, 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 but no one is admitting that they are actually talking. They have spoke about what a Punk return would look like internally. One WWE source commented, "If we brought Punk back, Royal Rumble could be far grander moment if we brought him back. Obviously, more grander moment than Survivor Series in November." So, yeah, CM Punk. I'm still just as confident as I always have been that he's coming into WWE. This doesn't make me any more confident, you know. It just kind of reassures what I was kind of thinking anyway, you know. Ibu, Punk, WWE. Yeah, anything you want to add? Any takes you want to give on it on this most recent update?
Well, this is just the reporters. It's just the news trickling down to the reporters that was kind of in the works for a few weeks now. And it's why, if you notice, like once Dave dropped that in the Observer, everybody like who kind of was gathering their stuff, but were waiting to have a more conclusive report, they all had to kind of scramble and just throw what they had out there. You know, which is really funny. Like Dave kind of put this out, and then Sean was like, "All right, fuck, I'll put something up on Select," and then like Nick House was like, "Oh, I'll throw something up." But like to fill his article, Hausman had to like just fill it with something, and so he spends like 2 paragraphs explaining that like he will not be in NXT, and I'm like, thanks, Nick. He's just like Shawn Michaels made these comments about Punk, and he said this and this, and you know, sources tell House of Wrestling CM Punk will not be debuting on NXT, and I'm like, right, but. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much of a reaction because none of this surprises me, and I'd imagine it doesn't surprise either of you two either. CM Punk has the wrestling bug; he has the itch. He feels like he's back when it comes to just as a performer, you know, and he wants to perform. Which is it's very interesting because there's been stretches in his life where he has not had he's had the opposite of the itch, and has no desire.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, no desire
We know.
to wrestling. Yeah, right now he's absolutely in the like I want to wrestle mode, and if he can't do it in AEW, then he looks to to WWE because it's either that or Impact. So, yeah,
Bound for Glory is in Chicago, isn't it? I think I saw that in the PW Insider report, and they're super interested in trying to get CM Punk, but
they want him.
There's been no traction on that side of things for them.
I was in Chicago last month. It doesn't mean he's coming to the late night grin. You know what I mean? It's a tough game to play.
Yeah, I mean, look, they want him, but I mean, you know, what do you want me to say? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Impact will take CM Punk. Like, wow, okay. He actually has a pretty good relationship with the people over there backstage. They have thrown offers his way, but he's trying to get this WWE thing done. And Dave isn't incorrect in the sense that it's not 100% like finalized in terms of all the legalities, everything dotted and signed, everything
Yeah, nothing's
completely hammered.
signed yet. It's just talks that's been reported so far. So
We're further than talks. We are further than talks. We are further than talks. But yeah, it things are just progressing and it's on track. I guess is the best way I could put this. And that's why Hausman's source said that it is a safe bet to expect him at Survivor Series. And that's just kind of where things stand at the moment.
yeah, it is. CM
It
Punk.
was expressed to me from someone in
Okay.
WWE that accompanying this incoming Punk signing, uh, that basically conversations would have to be had between Phil and certain members of the roster. That was expressed to me. That he would
I'm sure
have
that'll
to.
go well.
It was also expressed to me that this is imperative because, and this is them. This is not, this is just them. They were basically just saying like, we don't do the whole roster segregation. This guy can't be on this show for that. They basically were like saying the bullshit that was happening with like Collision in the summer. They're just like, we're not doing any of that. So if this is actually going to work and like work, we're talking, then people need to have conversations. And it was indicated to me that all parties that would need to have these conversations are 100% willing to have the conversations. But they still need to be had. Because if you don't, then you can't do certain money CM Punk matches. And what's the value in signing CM Punk if you can't do certain money CM Punk matches? But nevertheless, Punk is trying to get this thing done, and he's willing and ready to do it. And WWE is absolutely working with him, and they're putting the whole thing together. So it's a multi-layered thing with a lot of moving parts, apparently. Let me see if I can actually give you an exact message. 1 second.
Oh. But yeah, just while he's doing that, just to touch on what you were saying, WWE making, seemingly making a point of CM Punk's going to have to talk to X, Y, and Z, and we're going to have these mutual conversations, and we're not doing the whole segregation thing. I've always expected them to kind of approach it that way, and I think they're going to like deliberately have
Of
Punk
course,
work
yeah.
with people that he's rumored to have really bad relationships with, just to kind of emphasize the middle finger that they're giving to AEW that they're seemingly really trying to do now
Yeah,
and over the next couple of
it
months.
was
So,
it was implied to me that they're gonna like go out of their way to kind of broadcast if this like fully comes through, right? It was implied to me that they're gonna like try to like broadcast him with the people that people believe he has problems with to kind of go like, this is what real companies and real businesses do, type of thing. And like, so like I would not be surprised if like you get a steampunk interaction on the Raw after Survivor Series or some shit like that, you know.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of the thing. Yeah, and I looked it over again. The bottom line is that there are moving parts to this that they want to have hammered down to finalize this. Kind of like how it was for Punk in AEW, where before he came back to Collision, up until like 2 days before he actually showed up on Collision, there was various legalities, and it wouldn't be like this for other wrestlers. Like other wrestlers, right? You get a verbal agreement, and they're already working on creative while they're finalizing the contract, like signing and things like that, right? But with CM Punk, he's a unique case, as we all know. And so you can't leave it at an agreement or just a handshake or a nod or yeah, we're doing this type of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can get that and you can say like, all right, yeah, cool. So we are probably going to do this, but you got to then have certain conversations and certain plans and certain agreements. And then it's like, all right, now we need you to talk to this guy. All right, now you need to talk to this person. Now you need to agree with us that you're not going to do this. Now we need to have you on record and on document that you will not do this. So it appears that we are on that phase of this process.
Yeah, it seems, the talk especially, obviously, like we've been confident for a minute, but like the really public talk is really ramping up now, and Rest of Purist podcast talking about CM Punk again. I was saying to Joe just before we went live, fucking hell, so it's been like a week or two without him being one of the main subjects on the podcast. It was starting to get a bit weird, you know. But here he is. He's back again, and you know, the WWE talk is seemingly just going to snowball now. You know, that's what it seems to be. And it was interesting what Ibu touched on about the reporters. It was like, you know, Dave wrote his thing in the newsletter, and it was like, Nick Hausman had to get something out. PW Insider got something out. I think Sean's putting together like one of his big reports for like later today. So yeah, everyone's, you know, the cat's out of the bag, so to speak. You know,
Yeah.
Because you know, it was just
What it really-
assumptions, wasn't it, for the longest time? It was just assumptions. Like, oh, of course, WWE would want to bring in Punk, or obviously the other people would be like, WWE wouldn't want to work with him again. You know what I mean? And it's like now, you know, the assumptions of some of them have been confirmed. You know, so we'll see what happens.
It's a cat's out of the bag situation, Monty. Like most of the industry insiders were aware of what was happening, but everybody was waiting for like more finalized, conclusive things to have taken place before they put out a report. Because otherwise, it'd be kind of vacuous. Because again, you hear certain things and you hear certain things off record, but it's like until we've kind of reached a certain level with this, it's tough to, and because of how unpredictable this is, it's tough to just kind of put a report 2 weeks ago, right, and kind of go like, WWE have made preliminary, you know, WWE and CM Punk's agents have had, I mean, actually, I guess you could have published that if you wanted to, but like, you know, there are preliminary discussions between CM Punk's agents and WWE, and or Nick Khan has inquired about whatever the fuck. But that's kind of where things were a couple weeks ago, and things are starting to move along. And because of Dave, he put the pressure for the rest of the media to kind of go, all right, well, this is what I have on my page, so to speak. Yep.
John? Of course, like I said, PW Insider, they said that one source said that Royal Rumble would make more sense than Survivor Series. Nick Hausman said that he's put the WWE source in there saying it's a safe bet for Survivor Series. So, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, what do you think makes more sense? What do you think it's going to be if it is out of those two?
Survivor Series for sure. I think there's room to do a big match at the Royal Rumble, right?
Oh,
and that could mean a marquee singles match with a Roman Reigns or whoever it may be, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins. It could equally mean that you make a show of the actual Royal Rumble match itself, and you build it around the idea that this is this star-studded cast. I mean, someone mentioned to me they did this in 2017. You know, the idea of having dueling promos with a Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, so on and so forth about winning the Royal Rumble, that's big time. You know, and that's something that I think sometimes you can lose sight of because the draw is just the match. Trust me, that would make it a bigger draw if you did that kind of deal. So I think it makes more sense to bring him in at Survivor Series in some kind of angle and then spin that into whatever your direction is. I mean, there's a million options from there. But I think you're going to have enough momentum with Mania season as is, and you get the sense there's going to be some other heavy hitters around in that season. So get him in, give yourself a couple months to run up to that. I think that's the way.
Jade Cargill, Kairi Sane, Randy Orton, CM Punk. It's gonna be an interesting November. You know what I mean? It's just it's gonna be an interesting November.
I don't know why, but look, when you said those four names, then like Randy Orton was the one that like really
rattled you,
really lit my fire. You know, I fucking miss Randy Orton, man. You know, I think it's because there was all that talk like, oh, you might not come back. You know, and etc. And obviously, it's not been confirmed that he is coming back now, but we are hearing some positive updates. He was at the PC, he's training, he's doing this, he's doing that. So it's looking more and more likely that he is coming back, you know, within like the next few months or something. So, but yeah, man, I'm fired up for Randy, you know.
The thing with Randy is, the last thing I heard on him was basically like, he's just trying to get his back comfortable with bumping. In terms of physical shape, he's like built. He's like apparently like just as fit and you know and whatever as he's always been. You know, like he looks like Randy Orton, right? Sometimes when guys are hurt and they're kind of like working their way back, they don't look the way they did. Cody Rhodes, actually, if you guys would have seen what Cody
came back huge.
No, I'm talking Cody Rhodes in like October.
Oh, he got huge, got injured, then came back smaller.
He got like kind of fat. Yeah, and Cody Rhodes got fat, but yeah, Randy's like in amazing shape. Apparently, the thing with him is just he's like bumping, and like what they want to completely eliminate is him like getting up and being like, ugh. You know, like just that little, I felt that one. So that's the thing, you know.
But he's like 45.
I was gonna say, yeah. You might have to wait a while to get rid of that. I'm not sure that's possible.
Just bump, be like, this is a little bump.
Just kick back up, you know.
Because it was explained to me that like using the PC like trying bumps and shit, and he's kind of like, woo, you know, it's like, okay.
He only needs one bump, which is the one he takes when he hits the RKO. The rest of the time, he can stand on the apron for the rest of the match. He's fine. We've already seen him do that. So,
well, yeah. I'm sure when Riddle got himself fired, he was like, "Fuck." He was definitely like, "God damn it."
There's someone else that can put him with, like it's fucking Randy Orton. Like someone else can just get that rub. Like I know the Riddle dynamic was, of course, unique for many, many reasons. You know, because Riddle is the way he is. You know, but in terms of just getting like a likable baby face to just stick with Randy Orton, bro.
Monty,
like,
give him
easy.
Just throw Nathan Frazier at Randy Orton. Let that kid do all the running.
You need to stop with this Frazier business. It's too much, you know. I like Frazier a lot, you know. A lot. I think he's really good and really talented. But Ibu, mate, you know.
Let him do all the running and jumping, and then Randy can just, you know, he does the clothesline and the power slam and the draping DDT where he bobbles his head before he does it. You know, he grabs him and he's like, and he just fucking does the DDT. And then the RKO.
Oh no, man. A couple of super chats though. Cody Wills, 199. Appreciate you as always. What does Jade Cargill do at Fastlane? Just in the crowd? Question mark.
That's my presumption.
What was that, Bill?
That's my presumption.
It feels like she might be in play for Tuesday, right? I mean, they're doing some insane stuff. I feel like Jade's absolutely in play to make her in-ring debut on that show. Even if she's going to be a main roster talent.
I think
Cody's a main roster talent, you know, like he's on that show.
I've gone from when they started really loading up NXT the other day, I was like, okay, so Jade could absolutely debut at Survivor Series in a big angle or something, you know. And then you could have a show up on NXT. I don't know about doing an in-ring debut on NXT, but
it's a unique show, and it's also, I don't even mean this as a slight because it's just the game, but you know, this whole deal is inherently petty, and there's no better point to score in that arena for them than Jade, right? It's kind of like that'd be a victory lap in itself. I don't know. I think it's in play, but Sunday I could see her. Or sorry, Saturday I could see her being in the crowd for sure.
I gotta tell you, Joe, I've heard from both sides about this Tuesday thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is remarkably hilarious how badly each like side wants to win the thing. It's really funny. I mean, as they should, they get paid to care about this in one win. But like when you hear from someone in WWE, it's just like, we're gonna fucking get them. You know, like, all right. we're gonna.
It's a perception thing, man. Like it just, you know, that's where it's.
Yeah. The joke. This result is gonna like. It's just gonna like color and tint and paint the rest of this year in terms of like how these promotions are viewed. And WWE just really badly wants this like vision of just like anytime we want to, we can fucking kill them. And like AEW. They really want to be able to say, we beat John Cena. Go fuck yourself. We beat John Cena. We beat Paul Heyman. We beat Cody Rhodes. You know, they both badly. I asked people from both companies, like, do you actually care? Do you want to? And they're like, yes. So, all right.
Yeah, look, it's good. I mean, for fans, you're going to get insane lineups as a result of that. So you can't really lose. You know.
Joe, did I tell you about? It was mentioned to me from someone from NXT 2 days ago. They said that we still have more to announce, and I said, why didn't you announce it on Tuesday? And they said, because we want AEW to announce their full lineup, and then we can counter.
Whose job do you think that was to tune into Dynamite at 9:40 p.m. for the rundown?
Matt Bloom. He's like, they're doing Strickland versus Danielson. And Sean's like,
shit, call the Undertaker.
I don't know what the progress is on this, but it was tossed out and discussed. They're like, why don't we get Imperium in there? And they why don't we get them versus Cody, Ilya, and a third babyface and a sixth person?
God, who's the third babyface? Brian Pillman Jr.
I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. But yeah, this is gonna get more insane. Tonight is SmackDown, and Monty, I was told yesterday that like they're like, oh, it's a stacked show. It's a big night. It's a huge night. Because Cody's gonna be on there, and he's normally not there. Same with Jay. Same with the Judgment Day. Dragon Lee is on the show. Bob Lash is facing Ray. But they were previewing it as this big show, and I personally expect something NXT related to be shot on the show that'll be booked for Tuesday. This is my guess. I don't know this.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense considering how Stat Tuesday is. Like, there's many ways you can go about that, you know. So,
could you imagine they were just like, can you imagine Dom walks up to Ray and he's like, "You want to run it back, bitch, on Tuesday?" You know, or some shit.
That was a crazy impression.
I was gonna say,
you were pretty good at those, but that was unhinged. That was deeply unsettling.
Just remove all testosterone from voice and see what happens. Like, just oh man.
But yeah, man, going to war. Well, it should be. I'm saying, you know, on Wednesday when we spoke about it, bro, before AEW done their announcements and that, so people who were just kind of like, oh, AEW should just like, you know, not react to this and just book a normal show, and it's just like, that is just disgusting, you know, like. Oh, come on, man! No, you can't just lay down and take it. You got to fight back, and Tony Khan did fight back. And the impression that I've got is that Tony Khan very much felt that way going into it. That, you know, he ain't gonna just lie back and just let WWE tap dance on his face. You know,
no, he will absolutely not do that. He refuses to do that. And the idea that fans are like, oh, Tony, don't even worry about it. Just do what you normally would do. Why? This week's Dynamite did 800,000 viewers and 0.28. And, you know, some people would point to like the DVR issues affecting that. But the bottom line is it was a lower total viewership than a show that had mostly performance center people, but was bookended with Becky and Dominic. And, you know, God bless to Becky and Dominic. They're not John Cena. So why in the world would you just lie back and be like, yeah, John Cena, please just destroy my show on Tuesday? No, fuck off. Book the best lineup you can and go to war. Your fan base is great at mobilizing in moments like this. In fact, I don't even know if I fully believe this joke, but I committed to just predicting it anyway. AEW is going to win on Tuesday.
Yeah, you said.
I don't know if I believe this, but I've committed to fully predicting it. Okay, fair.
Yeah, he did it yesterday on the episode 100 podcast, and it was just like, okay.
I would be surprised simply because NXT is not only getting the assistance of these heavy hitters, but it's actually like surging in its own right as of late.
Yes.
And I say that as someone who only watches like select matches, but it's very impressive, genuinely, that they have quietly rebuilt that show. Yeah, because that show was at the start of the year. That show felt like it was less relevant than ever, honestly.
Joe, last week's TV, not even this week. Last week's TV was up 69% year over year.
Yes.
So
yeah, interesting tweets just popped up on my phone. You know,
shit.
It's from Raj Giri.
Oh shit.
It's a quote. No, it's a quote. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing crazy. He asks a question, and it's a question I want to ask you too. But it just happens to be Raj Giri, you know. So
I thought some really stupid news broke.
Oh no, don't worry about it. He quote tweeted the Undertaker tweet where it was, you know, Undertaker's going to be in Orlando, and he says, "Is this Tuesday turning into one of the most interesting NXT versus AEW head-to-head battles since the first episode, if not ever?"
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah, it is one of the most, if not like the second most interesting head-to-head.
What would you say the first was?
The first week, because here's the thing: we didn't know where these shows would settle at. We didn't know what Dynamite was like going to perform ratings-wise. Dave talks about this a lot, about how he was like, people speculated it was going to be a 500,000 viewer show.
I did.
And then that first week, he was like, wow, 1.4 million. And even if you knew it was going to settle, it became clear pretty much week one. I was like, oh, so this is going to just do better than NXT. And then like 2-3 weeks passed by, and I'm like, wow, yeah, it is just doing better than NXT.
The one stretch where it got shaky was when they went berserk with the Survivor Series build, and they just turned it into like a compilation of Raw and SmackDown. And then after Survivor Series, I remember thinking at the time, like, they may have hurt them with that surge there, because I remember they won a couple of those weeks.
Yeah,
They very quickly, Tony famously kind of took control creatively at the start of 2020,
and
they blew them away for a little bit after that. They were much better show. Yeah,
and then once the pandemic happened, it like NXT just did not know how to handle that.
Yeah,
and they never properly recovered.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this whole thing shakes out. And do you have any final questions for me, Monty, before I get up out of here?
There's one. Yeah, Jonathan Gomez, $2. Who should be Punk's first opponent?
I don't know. I'd like him to be a heel, but he's probably going to get cheered. And I don't know. I know who I'd like to see him wrestle. I don't know who I want his first opponent to be.
I assume like someone's gonna have to lie down for him, which is gonna be that may be a bit of a conundrum, I sense.
Oh man, selling Seth Rollins on jobbing this is gonna be something.
Yeah.
Would Kevin Owens do it? Maybe.
I think he would.
It feels like the Kevin Punk. I say this as a fan of both guys, but the story that you would naturally tell with those two should really end with Kevin beating him. Like we're actually thinking about it as a story and the history those two fellas had with each other. Kevin triumphing over CM Punk should absolutely. So you could go back to it, but it doesn't feel like the right starting place for Punk because, as you said, he's going to get cheered.
Yeah, he's got to come in as a babyface. Like
exactly, he should be a heel against Kevin Owens.
Yeah, of course.
He's a
piece of shit,
One of the things worth noting, though, is CM Punk currently, people close to him will tell you that he's super down to job to the entire main event scene of WWE. Like, that's his mentality. Like, you ask him, and it's like, I'll fucking lose to Cody or Seth or fucking Steen. I don't care.
Even in AEW, that was not something you'd hear about. Obviously there was like the Mox thing where he'd done the Instagram story where it was the other way around. Like he was saying that Mox didn't want to put him over. But yeah, you wouldn't hear really much about like, Punk doesn't want to do this job, and stuff like that. Obviously, it's, a lot of time's passed now, but it's like Punk didn't. We've got very good reason to believe that Punk didn't even want to win the world title in the first place when it was first suggested to him. So it's like. That doesn't surprise me at all that Punk's willing to put people over and stuff. I guess we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, but with that said, I had to leave. Thank you for having me on, Monty. Good job with the Brian Keith interview. He has great taste in wrestling.
I told you this. I got off the interview and I was like, I'm actually disappointed that you're at work and couldn't do it because you two have like identical tastes in wrestling.
It was crazy. The name that he was throwing out, I'm like, oh.
Tanaka, Hashimoto, Funk, like all these guys, bro.
Oh man, he was cooking. That man was cooking. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Shout out to Gusta Nagayo. I was like, okay, all right, shout out to Guy in Japan. Student of the game. I thought it was a really good interview. I'm sure many of you guys, if you haven't caught it, definitely check it out because I think it's a great window of insight into who he is and what he's all about. And I'm actually into your pitch of him wrestling in Japan. I think they would take to him. So definitely check that out if you haven't checked it out. Good job, Monty. We'll see how this Tuesday madness shakes out and what gets announced tonight. And I want to give a shout out to Dragon Lee, man. Sometimes you got to bet on yourself. Dave Meltzer reported this morning that he's been called up. And you just got to bet on yourself sometimes, man. Even when people think it's improbable or whatever, sometimes you're just so talented that you're undeniable. And him getting that one shot against Dominic opened up many eyes backstage. I can tell you that for a fact. And it should because he's great. So shout out to him. And with that, I leave you guys and say take care. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Ibu.
Have a good
night.
Right.
But yeah, man, the Brian Keith interview went up on the channel literally just before we started this. The premiere just finished. But yeah, Brian Keith, of course, independent wrestler. If you don't know much about him, I hope it's a good insight into like, who he is, who he is, what he's about, what he's inspired by, the footsteps he's trying to follow. He was telling me about how he's mentored by Booker T, Chris Hero, and Loki. So that's quite the holy trinity of professional wrestling. But yeah, he's like Ibu said, bro, he's a student of the game, a genuine student of the game, and we just talk raps for a bit, you know.
I love it. He's a very good wrestler, man. I was there for his little one-off with Hangman on Rampage. I was at that taping. His work's very, very sharp. He was one of the better guys on that night's TV, honestly, in terms of like the quality of his work. So I'm glad we got him on the platform. He's very good.
He is very good. Average Nick Biscuit and Joy, £4.99. Appreciate you very much. Who do you guys think Punk feuds with first, and what even about? Also, wasn't able to catch yesterday live, so a late congrats to the 100 podcast episode. Yeah, we had a great time on the podcast yesterday, episode 100. We got everyone coming in. We had a party, you know. We had a party. Who do I think Punk feuds with first?
I'm kind of tempted to start with Roman. Because you don't, babyface heel doesn't matter in that, you know? They're just going to talk shit to try and do work shoot stuff.
Anyway. You can just straight up be a babyface, and he will come in as, you know. So,
but he doesn't have to be like rah, because they're just going to do, you know exactly what that promo seems going to look like. They're going to stand opposite each other in the ring and do the work shoot quips, and it'll probably be really good, to be clear. But I think that's where I'd be tempted to start there and then kind of get into the more personal issues.
Just do
away from
the Cena thing or something.
Yeah,
you know, like when Cena came out at Money in the Bank, it's like Roman wins his match against, I don't know, LA Knight, AJ Styles, whoever the fuck, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, he cuts a promo after, like, acknowledge me, no one's on my level, blah blah blah, and boom, cult of personality. That's a very easy way of doing it, you know. A very easy way, but it would definitely work. I'm not mad at Roman being the first opponent. No.
Let's be honest, Roman beats everyone with like 8 interferences, so Punk would probably come out of it protected. I think if I wrestled Roman, I'd probably get a ref bump in there somewhere. So, you know, someone he can lose to without like killing his aura or whatever. So yeah,
100%. Yeah, bro, I can't really think of anyone better than Roman to start with, to be honest. Because of that thing that we keep mentioning, like he's going to come in as a babyface. When he turns heel, we're cooking, you know?
Yeah.
When he turns heel, we're really cooking. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with him. But as a babyface, when you're trying to like keep that in mind, it's your options are definitely a lot more limited, especially in WWE, as me, Joe, Ibu have mentioned many times. And when it comes to like top of the card heels, they're lacking. That's why I'm so fired up to see Drew McIntyre turn heel and be one of those guys, you know. Because there is a serious lack of them. There's Roman, there's Gunther, who's obviously in the IC title scene because he's the longest reigning champion of all time. And Drew's about to be heel, but he's not technically yet. Who else have we got? We've got Judgment Day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it is kind of thin at the very, very top of the heel division. So, you know, heel roster, not division. Custodian, Brian Pillman Jr., appreciate you as always. $1.99. A bunch of broom emojis. Main event Pillman on Tuesdays. We'll be locked in, bro. You've been a long time supporter, you know. Oh, Joe, you know I'm going to send you the clip. You know?
You will. Yeah, you're right. You'll be locked in, and I'll get a lot of clips. That's exactly how it will go. Yeah.
Margaret Thatcher, $1.99. My nephew Joseph, will we be watching NXT together?
I'm not sure I'm going to be watching either of these programs live, let alone with Margaret Thatcher. So probably not, to be honest. But I don't know. Maybe if they announce the Undertaker, Maggie, maybe we'll talk about it then. Maybe when that Pillman debut gets announced, right? Because we're locked in. Oh, maybe I'll change my mind.
Yuzora Hart, $2. Who will CM Punk punch first backstage?
Bruce Pritchard.
Brian James.
William Regal. Austin Theory.
I think he'll make up with Regal.
Do ya?
Yeah, I think he'll make up with Regal. He'll be made to. It'll be one of them. He'll grit through his teeth. It'll be fake as fuck, you know.
Yeah.
All of these conversations, a lot of these conversations feel like, I do believe that he will be able to, like, you know, patch things up with some of these wrestlers that don't like him, because a lot of them are like, you know, as far as we're aware, obviously we don't know the details because we don't know these people personally, but like, it's not like, a lot of them aren't like huge incidents. It's just like people just don't like him because they think he's a bit of a prick, you know. So
that
it's
is
like
important. Like with the AEW kind of, And I understand what Ibi was saying. That's their motivation. Like, we're going to handle this. But it is very different being like, you guys had beef 12 years ago, talk it out, to, hey, a year ago, there was a fight. Like, it's a different thing. And I agree with you. I think it will be easy to navigate those. With that being said, Grayson Waller may do a tweet that results in physicality.
It's a man. Road dog Jesse James.
He may be fucked. Yeah, it's over.
But yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see who it is. Maybe it's no one. I've got a little feeling it'll probably be no one, and he'll be able to just do business. Because this really is like his last chance.
Part time should help him too.
Yeah, there's loads of different factors why I think it won't end as like terribly as the AEW run did. There's a few factors. So yeah, some of them on Punk, some of them on WWE themselves as a company, and just the situation that we're in now. But yeah, Punk to WWE talks are going on there. Undertaker NXT, we've spent a lot of time talking about that. Let's do some Fastlane predictions, Joe. We've got Fastlane coming up. The card has a lot of tag matches on it. It is definitely a B-level pay-per-view. The matches on it aren't bad, but it's definitely a B-level pay-per-view, We got John Cena on it, though. So, just to do a quick rundown of the card. Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura, last man standing. John Cena and LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. Io Sky versus Asuka versus Charlotte Flair for the Women's Championship. LWO versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits in a 6-man. Judgment Day, as in Finn Balor and Damian Priest versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Let's start with that last one because that's the one that catches more, probably the most. The Judgment Day versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso for the tag titles. Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes tag teaming seems like something that I would have booked on a 2K game about a year ago.
It does.
So I'm fired up with this one. I'm very happy to see those two tagging. Definitely two of my favourite wrestlers in WWE. And Damian Priest and Finn Balor, just really good wrestlers, and I'm sure this is going to be a really good match with loads of heat, etc., etc. I hope the interferences don't get too much because they have played Judgment Day. Of course, they're a heel group. I'm expecting interferences or distractions. So I'm expecting some of it and some elements of it because, of course, they're the heels, But at the same time, it's like what they did with Trick Williams and Dom on Tuesday was outrageous. Yeah. So Dave Meltzer has kind of picked up this latest thing of anytime there's interferences in the match, he calls it House of Torture. And 9 times out of 10 when he says it, he's like, well, hold on. It's not quite evil and that running around doing bullshit. But, Tuesday was legitimately House of Torture-esque. Interference after distraction after distraction after bullshit, and then the heels win. He was just like, fuck.
Right.
So I hope it doesn't, it doesn't fall into that again because even sometimes you can do a lot of interference and it was good. The street fight that they did. There was a lot of interference.
Awesome.
There was a lot of interference in that, but it was fucking awesome. So
yeah, I think there will be a lot of interference. It's just a matter of how they do it. I mean, I thought they nailed it on last Monday's Raw, right? Last Monday, I think 2 Mondays ago now, the one with when they kind of did the War Games deal, everyone running, Cody did that great running. Yeah, I thought that was terrific. I'm with you on being excited for this match. I mean, this is the kind of card that, to be honest with you, as you run it down, there isn't a lot here that makes me go, man, I can't wait for Fastlane. I can't pretend otherwise. It doesn't move me like that. But it is the kind of show where when you go match by match, I think you can be pretty confident that if you do tune in, you're going to have a good time with this one. I think this match is a great example of that. This isn't a marquee match or a box office match. But when you look at the ingredients here, this really should be quite good. Placement, if it's placed even somewhat favorably, it's going to have incredible heat. I think even in a death spot, this is going to have heat considering the players involved.
Definitely. Yeah.
Cody, Jey Uso kind of hot tag, babyface in peril combination should be quite dynamic. Priest and Balor are not going to dominate the headlines often, but have quietly become a very good team in the sense 100%. That they seem more connected than you would have imagined when it first. I mean, I even remember as far back as Clash of the Castle when they worked with Edge and Ray. I remember thinking that match was tremendous. I mean, not like a classic or anything, but they were really sharp in there. So there's a lot to like here. I think this has a chance to be really good. And just broadly, I think the Jey Uso angle, from what I've seen of it, has been very compelling. I like the way they've told that story. So this is, I agree with you. This one to circle. I think this could be very good.
Definitely. You got a prediction? I'm going to go with the Judgment now. I can't see him putting the belts on Cody and Jey.
I think Jey does something heroic in defeat. Like he does something that proves himself to the baby faces, but it's what costs him the match. I think it's probably what you do here.
All right, we got LWO versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. I guess we'll find out tonight what the actual final lineup for this is, because it's.
Right.
I mentioned it yesterday. It could go one of either way. It could go one of two ways, because with it being a 6-man, obviously the LWO, you've got the tag team, and then you've got Santos and Ray, which is 4 people. So it's like they're either going to get. You would assume that they're either going to get like Dragon Lee to come in because he's had a lot of positive interactions with Rey Mysterio, and he'll be the 3rd man, and you leave the tag team out of it. Or you forget about Dragon Lee, you do the 4-man, and then someone joins Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. I've seen people say Carmelo. I've seen people say other people. So my guess would be that they go with the Dragon Lee option.
Me too. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna go with Lashley and the Profits for this. What about you, Joe?
Yeah.
And what you
I'm with you, and I think it's one to kind of throw up the bat signal in terms of Escobar and Ray, right? That feels like a finish you can go to here with some kind of turn on Escobar's part. This match, again, same kind of vein. This could be terrific, right? I mean, there's some dynamic pieces here. I'm excited to see what Bobby and Ray do tonight in a singles to begin with, but this should be a strong kind of all-star, maybe a little bit generous to it. But I mean, there's some cool dynamics here and some kind of fresh kind of blends of talent. So this should be very good. I assume that you give Bobby and the Profits the win, because that's an act that's more, as a group, they're more reliant on being protected than the LWO, who are spectacular regardless, right? So should be very good.
All right, we got a Women's Championship triple threat match. Io Sky defends against Asuka and Charlotte Flair. This could be really good, and this could also be really like meh. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those, but you'd assume that most will think it's going to be really good. You've got some really good talent in there. It just depends on how he's put together, levels of motivation, blah 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 blah. Io Sky was great, Asuka's great, and I love Charlotte Flair. I think Io Sky retains here by pinning Asuka. Some people think Charlotte might win number 15, but I don't see it on this show.
Yeah, number 15 is. I co-sign your prediction. I can't muster any excitement for this. I'm sorry. I just can't do it, man. Charlotte triple threat for the women's title on pay-per-view is like, I swear it happens every week. I swear there are more of these matches than there are pay-per-views. I'm convinced of it. It's more specifically than that. It's the amount of times I feel like Ibu has said to me as a friend, they're building to a triple threat with Charlotte. I feel like if I had $1 every time, I'd have a mention right now. It probably will be good. I do say probably, because honestly, some of those Charlotte triple threat matches in recent, I don't think have been very good.
Yeah, that's why I kind of put my reservations out there about it.
Was it SummerSlam? Where was the one that was really? Was it SummerSlam?
Just
Monday, was a triple threat. Yeah, it was on that show, right? Yeah, I don't know, mate. It's the booking of Charlotte Flair is I have no interest in really again at this point, because it is what it is, and everyone knows where they stand on the topic. It's been the same subject for around 7 years. But at this point, I can't really be invested. I hope it's good, and I hope Io wins. That's where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. John Cena and LA Knight versus the Bloodline. John Cena and LA Knight, man. What a tag team. The fan favourites. The kids love them.
It does rule.
It does, man. It does, absolutely. It might not be for like the wrestling snobs, which is ironic coming from us on the literal
Wrestle purists.
Wrestle purists, but Cena and LA Knight, the people love them. It's going to work. It's going to have a bunch of heat. I don't know if it's going to be a 4-star upwards classic or anything, but the crowd's most definitely going to be into it, and I'm sure it will be a good time. So John Cena and LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa with Paul Heyman. I'm obviously going to go with John Cena and LA Knight in this one.
Yeah, babyfaces win. I don't think this will be much of anything as a match, to be honest. I think this will probably be like full house show in terms of the way it's worked. But honestly, when you're as over as the babyface team here is, that's probably the best way to do it anyway. Like, realistically, as much as I love the Usos, and that does include our friend Jim, him and Solo Sikoa at this point as a team, there's not really much reason to go into kind of heavy sequencing and elaborate finishing stretches here. Like, get some heat on Cena. How do you do this actually? Because Cena usually makes the hot tag. Hold on, now I'm pondering this. Do you do like a? Do you
You can get
tease some
heat. You can get heat on LA Knight. You get good heat on LA Knight,
do you not want to give him the comeback though?
Do too. Double heat.
You could do one of those deals where they give you they flirt with some heat on LA, give Johnny's hot tag. Then you have Solo grab the nerve hold on John. He sits in the middle of the ring, giving it this deal while they list off his accomplishments and title credentials. And then you come up and do LA's big hot tag with the neck breaker and the elbow and all that good stuff. They'll go about 12 minutes, probably about 2.5 star match that will fucking rip, and we'll put it over on.
I don't even think you need 12, to be honest, mate.
No.
8. Telling you. All right, so world title match: Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura in the last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think Seth retains here, but WWE have done as much as they can in trying to make Shinsuke look like credible, and make him feel like he could be in the world title feud, and but I don't see him actually winning. Who knows, man? They might do some weird. They've just done that new Japanese TV deal with a beamer. They might do something weird,
Cole Anderson. Yep.
Yes, Kyle Anderson. I'm going with Seth. Seth.
Yeah, Seth's going to win. I don't really know. This could be one of those deals where I'm misreading it or missing the obvious, but this seems like a slightly odd choice of step for what these two guys do as wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last man standing deal is really hard to pull off because you don't have the drama of the near falls. You have you have to really work to those 10 counts.
Yes.
Which basically means in WWE where you can't get juice and such, that you have to do like a bunch of stunts and do like table spots.
Mm-hmm.
That just feels like a weird match for Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura to do to me. But maybe they've got something in mind. Maybe it will turn out better than I'm imagining. I did not get a chance to see their first match. I was in Chicago watching Dax Harwood chop Switchblade Jay White. I heard mixed things. I don't think it will be bad, but I would be surprised if this is like a home run, to be honest. But hopefully it is. Hopefully it surprises me,
Yeah, it could be. It could be a good one.
Hopefully.
What's it? Yeah, hopefully, 100%. You can. WWE last man standing matches don't tend to be like terrible, so
yeah, they're somewhere in the middle often for me. It's like
mm-hmm.
they have a safe formula, but it doesn't wow me and it also doesn't bore me because there's always stuff going on and things being set up and so on and so forth. It'll be fun.
Right, other news notes. Mercedes Moné, she's reportedly got the big boot. She got the big boot off. It's not on anymore. So that's a positive update on Mercedes and her injury. And she's expected to be working with AEW, Stardom, New Japan. None of this is like super surprising, but just an update on Mercedes Moné. Glad to hear that her foot is recovering because her ankle, foot, whatever, was fucked, so hopefully she's back sooner rather than later because, she's one of the premier talents in all of wrestling. So
world, yeah, absolutely. Her 2023 was looking so cool too, like the way she was doing it and having that kind of prize fight feel, shutting up for these big time fights. And it's been a shame we've missed her a lot in the wrestling kind of scene in general. It could be an incredible bit, the idea of her like actually showing up at Full Gear, the building where she did not show up in January, which was like a whole ordeal that feels like a lifetime ago, but was somehow this year. That could be quite the deal here, 11 months later. So time will tell, but I'm excited to see her wrestle regardless of show, brand, so on and so forth.
Seen a lot of people suggesting, get her involved in this Tuesday Night War, Joe. Video package, promo, something like that,
That's one of those talents that's in the top tier where you can't, you can put your head on the pillow and say, we got heavy here. Like there are wrestlers you can bring in that Monty and I may pop for, but we know are not really big deals in the grand scheme of things. You get Mercedes, you can be pretty content with with your business. So that would be a hell of a deal. Absolutely. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. What else have we got? We got Dragon Lee. I think you just mentioned it earlier. Dragon Lee seems like he's going up to the main roster, and that's going to be his permanent place. We'll see what happens there. Bandido is a few weeks away from being fully cleared. Mark Briscoe is back training. Apparently, he's been out for a while, man, and it was such a bummer when he went down. It's always a bummer when any of these people I've mentioned goes down, but Mark Briscoe, especially for me at least, was like a killer.
Yeah.
I was ready to start my campaign for him being the world champ.
Restart it, brother. Let's get rolling again.
Yeah, man, restarting it.
Yeah, I've missed him a ton. It's it was the timing and everything was brutal on that. So looking forward to having Mark back. Bandito too, spectacular wrestler. So yeah, some positive news there for sure on the injury front.
Yeah, 100%. Then Nakajima.
Oh.
Apparently, few people knew that he was actually leaving Noah before. Obviously, it was like announced and stuff. And the two places mentioned as being possible destinations for him are WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, Tony Khan mentioned that AEW would be interested in bringing him in, etc., etc. So I guess you have to throw them in the conversation because we've heard it from Tony Khan's mouth himself. But yeah, a lot of people wrote off WWE as soon as he was announced that he was leaving Noah.
I did.
And
I did do this.
as far I get, if you look at him from just an in-ring sense, I can get it. They won't go for him. But WWE seem to be in this mode at the moment where if there's after coming out of this recent hiring freeze and after the Endeavor deal got finalized, they're it seems like they're going to get pretty aggressive again, So Nakajima, I've said it from the start. I wouldn't be surprised if WWE are interested in Nakajima. I didn't say that's the way I think he's going to end up. I just think that there will be some legitimate interest from WWE in Nakajima because he was one of Noah's big singles guys. And, he does have a reputation of being a good worker, amongst other things. But,
Yeah.
Speaking of reputations...
Oh no!
Manny the Hooper is outside.
Oh my God, he looks like he's in prison.
Yeah, I'm walking. I just fucked out on break. I said, "Fuck it, I'm going on break, and no one's stopping me today."
God bless. Manny the Hooper. How you doing today? You excited for CM Punk in WWE?
Yeah, I saw that. Maybe as soon as you guys went live, and I said I had to say something about it. I had no idea what was going on or anything like that.
Well, he's coming in. Now, there's talks between CM Punk and WWE. There's a lot of talk about him potentially showing up at Survivor Series. The WWE source called it a safe bet that he'll be at Survivor Series. So, the Second City Saint, CM Punk. You okay, man?
Wait, I forgot to mute my camera.
The funniest thing is he just settled down and got a nice view and stuff. Oh, go on, Manny, and then immediate chaos. But yeah,
Manny the
there we
Hooper,
go.
Yeah, like I was saying about Nakajima,
yes, I shut it down, Monty. I did.
I thought people were too quick to shoot it down. And again, people, I'm not saying that I think that's where he goes. Or I don't really know. I guess my personal front runner, as someone who doesn't know shit about what's going through his head right now, is probably New Japan.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if he does a few appearances in AEW though. Bye, Manny.
Hell of a run.
But yeah, he doesn't. WWE having interest in him at least, and he just doesn't surprise me at all. Man.
Look, you had the right read on it. It was one of those equations for me that mathematically just didn't add up and I still don't get it. I mean, I get your explanation of it, but the WWE packaging of him is fascinating to me. I don't know what that looks like.
I said it last week, man. It's Kenta. It's Hideo Itami all over again, bro.
Why would you want to recreate that though?
I don't know. No, I don't think that's what they want to do. And it's just another case of them taking a guy who has a certain style but just does not fit what they do in WWE at all. But because he has a bit of a name, and granted it's not as big of a name as what Kenta had at the time, but he's still a guy with a name and a reputation. But because he's got that, they're looking at it yeah, let's bring him in. We can do something with him. We'll tell him to tone it down, and we'll give him a new name, and we'll, you know what I mean? And it'll be Hideo Itami all over again.
I mean, look, to be fair, you just mentioned the new TV deal in Japan you did just mention, to be fair, right? And so I'm sure there's moving pieces. I would be surprised. I'll use a Montgomery quote and say I'll believe it when I see it. But you were right about it makes sense that they have interest because of course that's the kind of talent they always are looking for, even if it doesn't really fit. So it would be interesting to see. I still can't imagine it, but it's certainly not impossible for all the reasons you just laid out.
Look at him, man, and just
This
cruising.
is unbelievable.
You know?
Look at his grin. The big man. Look at him.
So that Samoa Joe promo on
Look
Tuesday.
at him, bro.
On Wednesday.
Okay, so everyone needs to clip this visual, get rid of our audio, and put some music over the top of this because it's glorious. Look at Matty, man, just living the dream, the highs and lows of life.
You know,
Look at him.
might just do the podcast like this, you know. just Manny cruising along, you know. Is he ordering?
He's doing drive-through. He's doing drive-through. Oh my god, he's actually doing this right now. Look at him.
All right.
He looked like a brief order to his credit. So good for the Hooper. He's looking after himself. Look at this.
I'm getting wings later. That's why I'm getting a small order right now.
Okay.
Wow. God bless. Beautiful stuff, Hooper.
Oh man, we're so lucky to have the team that we've got. You know. God
yeah,
bless.
absolutely.
Is there anything else? We've got a couple of super chats and we can get out of here unless Manny's got anything important to say.
Look at Manny. Who's going for his cash?
I'm counting money, baby. You know, that's what I do here.
This is a wrestling podcast, by the way, you know.
Oh, you know what? I got something. It's not wrestling related, but you know what? Fuck Drake, bro, man. That fucking album was trash, bro. I
haven't listened to it yet, but I have seen a lot of that.
Just save yourself some trouble and go.
Yeah, I've conceded on that front. I'm not rushing to new Drake projects.
Yeah, I haven't been like waiting for Drake to drop for years now.
Years,
you know?
yeah.
And I was working in nightclubs up until like last year. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was around a lot of Drake. You know.
Probably enough for a lifetime, I'd imagine. Right?
Anyway, back to wrestling. Super chats at least.
Super chats.
Karan, 2,000 rupees, which I think is around $20 in that area. I don't know. Appreciate you regardless of what it is. We always appreciate Karan. He says, didn't get to super chat for the 100th episode, but I just want to let Monty and Joe know how much they've helped me this year. Thank you for all that you do. Joe's Roddy monologue and Monty's gravity meltdown were all-time moments, by the way. Appreciate you very, very much, Cameron. Yeah. You've been a great part of our live chat many, many, many of times. And we appreciate your support and happy that we can at least contribute something to your entertainment, you know?
Absolutely, man. That's the best thing, right? Like, we have our fun with this, and I love talking to my friends about wrestling. When people say it improves their day or gives them something to do while they're doing this, that, or the next, that's the treat of this. So, Crowd always pops me with the clips too. He makes the show seem a lot better than it is with those clips on Twitter. So, we appreciate the support.
What, man?
I probably should have been driving on camera.
Well, you was.
Now,
yeah.
You've like 5 minutes.
This is a question that Manny the Hooper can contribute to. Willie199, he says Jake Paul washes Riddle in the boxing match, right? So it was reported earlier that in the Observer newsletter. So last week it was reported that PFL and Bare Knuckle and Bellator and these MMA companies were interested in Matt Riddle. Those that don't know, Matt Riddle's of course in the UFC, really good wrestling background, etc., etc. So those talks came up. He did beat John Jones in wrestling when he was in college or high school. But yeah, Riddle. Apparently, there's some very preliminary talks between people about a potential Jake Paul versus Matt Riddle match. I don't know whether it'll be MMA or boxing. But to answer Willie's question, Jake Paul, yeah, he does wash Riddle in the boxing match. Because even when Riddle was in the UFC and in MMA, he was a wrestler. He would control people. He submit people and stuff like that. Yeah. He wasn't a striker. He's very good at MMA at the time, but you know.
It'd probably be the PFL because wasn't the PFL interested in Riddle? And then Jake Paul signed to the PFL, so.
Yeah. That would be. I don't see any value in the boxing match. I could see there is definitely like a novelty to the MMA fight because of Riddle's experience. And obviously, Jake has none in that domain, but definitely not in boxing. It'd be
Well, don't forget, Jake
No
Paul
chance.
was a state wrestler, state champion wrestler, I think.
right. Yeah. It's part of the novelty I was talking about, man.
Well, I was giving out his credentials, you know.
You were adding insight and depth. I appreciate it, Manny. I forget what you do around here, you know.
I want, you know, I don't want to consider myself expertise, but you know, I know my stuff about combat sports.
You do.
You know.
do.
Oh, Joseph,
Yeah,
you know more about boxing. What do you think about Canelo being like one of the greatest boxers of all time for Mexico or whatever, Mexican fighter?
He's got to be. I think Chavez is like the only name who I would say is
Yeah,
above him, right?
I'd say like undeniably, I think he's like top 2.
He kind of has to be.
Like,
I thought he used to be 2 or 3 between De La Hoya, or if you want to go with one of those old fuckers.
Nah,
from
he's
Mexico.
above Oscar.
fuck De La Hoya, man.
I loved watching him, but Oscar's like in terms of their big fights and what I think Canelo is above him at this point, pretty comfortably. I think, unless I'm
Yeah.
maybe I'm I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
I'm not-
Chavez.
I can't talk on Mexican sports culture as well as Manny can, but you know, I can scream out "fuck Oscar De La Hoya."
One last thing before I go back to I have to go back and eat. So I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast and he had Bernard Hopkins on. And Bernard Hopkins said, you know, at least I left the fight game with when I'm all there. But he said that while stuttering the whole time and forgetting what he was saying.
Oh man,
What's
Bernard Hopkins only retired like 2 years ago or whenever the fuck it was as well, you know. So
and like the funny thing is like he said that and Joe says, yeah, I see it or whatever. Like he said that, I'm like, bro, he stuttered and forgot what he was saying. Like midway through, he was saying that he's all there mentally.
God bless, you know. Praying for him. Praying for all these CTE riddled ex-fighters, you know, and the ones that are out there doing it to the bodies right now. But as far as Riddle's concerned, speaking of all that kind of stuff, I think Manny said PFL. I think PFL is like the destination for him. Bare knuckle fighting is like he's not a striker first and foremost. That's the most important thing. But I just
He'll
don't
probably
think
do. Masvidal does the bare knuckle MMA, right? He'll probably do that whole shit.
Yeah, fucking rules.
Man, he just needs to do PFL, man. He just needs to do PFL and just try and coast by on his wrestling and hope he doesn't embarrass himself off that, you know. Which I think he's capable of doing because when he was in the UFC, he was winning fights in the UFC. Very strong grappling. Obviously, he hasn't been in MMA for years now, so I don't know how rusty he'll be. He's 37, you know.
Yeah, he's been away for way too long.
I forgot what the Gamebred is doing a mini tournament right now to see who's gonna fight Junior Dos Santos for the bare knuckle heavyweight championship or whatever. And I think it's the number one contender between Gunnar Nelson and somebody else. But hey, man, I think let's get Matt Riddle in there against Dos Santos and bare knuckle fighting and see what happens.
Bro, it's a death sentence.
He was stroking his beard when he said it.
JDS would fucking murder Riddle in bare knuckle boxing, bro.
Well, look, let me say this, man. A lot of people that hate Riddle, it's gonna be like a double thing, you know. I'm gonna see it because it's gonna be an awesome mismatch and take me back to UFC 1. And the people that hate Riddle are gonna watch his ass get beat. So you know, it's a win-win for everybody.
Man, he thinks he's Greg Hardy or some shit, you know.
Greg Hardy just got KO'd again.
Did it?
Yeah, so that, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those fascinating heavyweights, you know, in the cage anyway, as far as like he absolutely has like cannons as fists, you know, but he also has quite a weak chin for a heavyweight. So it's like he either gets knocked out or he brutally knocks out someone. Like there's no in between when Greg Hardy steps in there. But he's a piece of shit, so you know. Zaid 94.99, appreciate you. Forget about Cody Rock Punk against Roman at WrestleMania 40. He should be Logan the German. He's from Philly, but yeah, I'm excited about Punk in WWE. Shout out Logan the German Shepherd.
Totally.
He's a good boy.
I was about to say who's Logan.
That's what I have to explain to the audience, you know, like, because Logan the German could mean a whole host of things, you know.
Well, I mean,
So,
if you're talking about German Shepherds, I mean, does he bite people like Biden's dog?
I don't know, man. I don't have the details, right? You know.
I know. You see that story where they kicked Joe Biden's dog out of the White House because it bit 11 people?
Jesus.
You know how many chances they gave that dog? 11 people. You know, like most dogs get put down after 2.
Something like that, man. But anyway, it's time for us to wrap up, Joe. Before Manny just
It
keeps
is.
us
Yes,
here
it is.
talking. You know, eat your food, Manny. You got your takeaway. We watched you get it
Yeah.
and pay for it. You know.
All
All right, we're gonna get out of here.
Mhm.
Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. Please make sure you like though, especially as you're on your way out, because it helps us out, and we just need you to do it. Of course. Plugs wise, MJF interview from last week. If you haven't seen it, Brian Keith interview. Of course, that has only just dropped, so I'm assuming a lot of you guys haven't seen it, and understand it's not exactly the same as MJF, but if you are into independent wrestling, or you just kind of want to find out more about who Brian Keith is, he is genuinely, and I'm not just saying this, he is genuinely like one of the most in-demand, brightest talents on the indies at the moment. So it was cool to talk with him. So go check that out. Later on tonight, we've got on Purist. Tomorrow, we've got the Fastlane / Collision watch along. So we've got some stuff coming up. Keep an eye on the Wrestle Purist page. But yeah, from me, myself, Joe Hulbert, gonna get out of here. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace.